teacher asked me, "What do you want to be?" I answered to my teacher, "I want to be a doctor."
Imagine you're 14 and this is your dream. What would you give up to chase that dream?
I did not have anything in my mind. The only one thing was like, I got to leave this country.
This is my friend Hasson. 5 years ago, he left his home, his family, and took a dangerous journey across the ocean in a fishing boat. His hope? To make it to Malaysia, his land of opportunity, where dreams could come true.
Well, how do you find this place?
I Google it, nice places to go, and I suddenly find out this place.
This is where he believed he would be able to forge a better future.
We are having satay with a view.
Yeah.
A really nice view.
Try that.
Good.
It's very good. I decided to come to Malaysia because I thought they have full freedom for refugees here.
But it was not to be. Hasson is a Rohingya whose family fled the Rakhine state in Myanmar for Bangladesh in 1991. He was born in a refugee camp in Cox's Bazar.
Many people died because there was no doctor. My mother became well. At the time, I was in class 3.
I first met Hasson 3 years ago while filming my final year project. I was instantly impressed, not just by how articulate he was in English, but also his ambition to become a doctor so he could help his people.
If I want to study inside the camp, it's just wasting of time. Then I said, I got to do my own things, what am I gonna do for my future?
In Cox's Bazar, refugees have no shot at higher education. So the only way he was going to achieve his dream was to leave. With no legal documentation, he had to turn to smugglers. For 3 months, he was stuck at sea with 1,300 people squeezed on board a boat.
Everybody was feeling nervous, and if we speak out, they will beat us. They shoot this guy who speak out about this, and then just throw him to the river. People became crazy because without food, really hot, and it's rain. A lot of people drink salt water from the river, and there was a big problem.
In the fracas, the boat was damaged and began to sink.
I was swimming about 5 hours. I never lost my hope. I always hope I could end up somewhere by swimming.
Luckily, Achenese fishermen were nearby and rescued the refugees. They were brought to a refugee camp in Aceh, Indonesia. Conditions there were much better than back in Bangladesh. But still, it wasn't enough for Hasson. And so, he decided to risk everything once again. At this point, I was very worried for Hasson because 2 other refugees I knew had engaged traffickers to get them from Aceh to Malaysia, and they were never heard from again. Hasson was warned not to go, but he left anyway.
This is the first place I was in here.
Hasson will never forget the day he stepped foot in Malaysia. February the 5th, 2016. He stayed for the first 8 months with a Rohingya family that he knew.
I just prayed, I just thankful to God.
Here in Malaysia, he felt freer than he had ever been.
I never had experience going out alone. In Bangladesh, I was just studying there. Got electricity here, got every day enough water. I never used electricity when I was back home.
But his excitement soon gave way to reality. Here in Ampang, Kuala Lumpur is where Hasson stays today. I am on my way to Hasson's apartment. In Malaysia, the Rohingya do not stay in refugee camps. They stay side by side with locals. When you came to Malaysia, was it as per what expected?
No, not really, yeah.
In what aspect?
I was a little bit disappointed about that because I thought maybe refugees can go to school here, local school, but they can't.
Refugees have no access to government schools in Malaysia, and Hasson could not afford a private college for his medical studies.
In Bangladesh, in a school certificate.
Oh, you did really well in school. Top of your class?
Not top. Also, who was in third or second?
You wanted to be a doctor. What happened to that goal?
I just had to give up with that because the more I realized when I am in Malaysia, actually, it's totally impossible in Malaysia for me to study medicine here. Dream house. I do it. You know, a lot of people. Sometimes I feel like now I'm in a cage. Like I can't move anywhere. If I have a passport, if I have a citizenship, I will have my rights. Nobody listen to my word because I am nobody now.
But once again, Hasson isn't going to let adversity hold him back. Nobody understands the importance of education more than he does. That's why Hasson set up a school for Rohingya children in his first year in Malaysia, even as he was labouring to pay off the 8,000 ringgit debt he incurred to get to Malaysia.
What is wrong with you? Wrong. W-R-O-N-G. Wrong.
In his job as a medical coordinator for an NGO, the Gutania Foundation, Hasson realized that Rohingya women were struggling to communicate their health problems to doctors. So he started English lessons for them too. But how to persuade their husbands to let them attend classes?
Some of the husbands, they said, oh, no need the mothers to study what they're going to do. He said, look, mother is really important to be educated. What she going to teach to your children?
They now have up to 70 students. One of them is 50-year-old Nur Baha, who now has hope for not just her own future, but also her children's future.
S-S-S-Y-Z. Alay sundogori momika sundogor salai soli garibone atanna porayare alay torki goribone.
Abdulaziz, school mother kon lage na?
Hasson's job as a medical coordinator also involves him making referrals to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees.
Usually it would be a refugee. There's a serious health issue. They can't access the health facilities or the government health centres easily because they don't have a UNHCR card. So the referral is basically a way to obtain a UNHCR card, which would then enable them to get a 50% discount.
After the blood test, we will know whether she needs to go to hospital or not.
Okay. Hasson said he felt like a nobody, but I see him as a young man with a huge heart, someone who's changing lives one battle at a time. He's not going to stop fighting the good fight for his community, just because everything in his reality points to no. For now, Hasson has set aside his dream of becoming a doctor for another calling, journalism. He wants to give the people of his community a voice.
I want people to speak. I don't want them to keep silent.
For me, like having a goal or having a target in my life is worst. You know why?
Why?
Every time I go to do something, I never can do it.
What I can do is I can do something here where I am now. I'm here, I have this.
It looks like an elephant's trunk.
The eyes is here. I'm happy now because of other people, they're getting help and they're happy. And that's what makes me happy.